Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a buttonhole using artificial flowers. So the things that you're going to need for this project is a large focal flower, so it can be like a carnation, a rose, anything like that, an orchid. And then you're going to need some foliage, so I've got some little eucalyptus leaves that I've actually taken off separately. And I've got some little seed heads there. And then I've just got some flowers. So these are little delphinium petals and some lavender there. You're also going to need some wires. So I'm going to use this one for the focal flower. It is a 0.90 millimeter thickness wire. It's 30 centimeters long, but I'm just going to cut that one in half. And I'm just going to use this wire that's on a reel for the other flowers, because the key to a good buttonhole is that you don't want any of the flowers to be too sort of heavy. So this one's great for that. And then when you wire them, which I'll show you how to do in a moment, if you hold the flower up on the wire, if it droops, the wire's not thick enough. If it stands up, then that's absolutely perfect. You're also going to need some tape. So this is a gutter tape. This comes in two different varieties. This is the sort of plasticky one, which I prefer to use. Or there is another one that's really sort of sticky, and it's a much different texture. I prefer this one because I find the sticky one is too sticky for me to use. But if you're new to sort of floristry, you might find the sticky one easier to start with. You're also going to need, for artificial flowers, some wire cutters, and then just some normal scissors for cutting your tape. Right, so let's get started. So I have pre-wired most of my flowers and gutter taped them, but I'll just show you how to do a few different types. So starting with your focal flower, so this one I've already wired and taped, so I'll just show you how to do that. So I'm going to get my 0.90 millimeter thick wire. Now you don't want the, so you're going to have two legs on there basically, but the shorter one you want to be fairly short because you just want it to stand on one leg. So hold it against the stem. You're going to twist the shorter length round, like so, and then pull the other one down next to it. And I've still got, so you can see that standing perfectly on its own. So I've still got a bit of a length there, so I'm just going to trim that little bit off. Get rid of that bit. And then I don't want this to be too long, so it doesn't matter if it is too long because we're going to trim it at the end, but I'm just going to trim it to about there. Okay, so that's wiring the focal flower. Just get rid of that bit of wire. And then to tape it, I'm just going to cut a little bit of the tape off. And I'm going to place it just around the top of the stem where the wire is. And you hold that in one, so your thumb and forefinger. And what you're going to do is rotate the flower around whilst pulling. I don't know if you can see that. So this bit, so that your long strip, you are going to be winding round the wire whilst you're twirling it with your other hand, okay? It will take a few times to get this right. You're probably not going to get it straight away. And the key to using this gutter tape is to pull really tight so it stretches. Like so. And there you have your fake stem. Okay, just show you how to do some of the other flowers. So I've got the little delphinium petal here. So I've just cut the stem, just a little bit left on there. I'm going to get the wire from the reel. Just going to cut a little bit off. Move these flowers out of the way, just so you can see. Okay, so with this one, again, place it at the top. Gonna wind it all the way round, and whilst you're doing that, with this hand, just pull that really, really tight. And then you can just loop that round a couple of times. There we go. Another thing to do is just ever so gently, just pull the wire, make sure it's on there securely. Make sure it stands up. Perfect. And then I'm just going to gutter tape that. So again, you want it to cover the top of the wire. So again, you're going to be twirling with one hand whilst pulling with the other. You don't need to go all the way to the end of these, because these are going to all be trimmed at the end, okay? And then as for the lavender, slightly different. So again, just going to cut a bit of the wire off. Now with the lavender, it's got little petals coming off, little stems coming off of it. So I'm just going to put the wire through a couple of the stems, so it's like anchoring it, and then down. And then I'm just going to wire around. And then I'm going to get rid of the excess of one of the legs. And then I'm going to just wire that again. Don't worry, it obviously won't be able to wire the bit in between, but that won't be seen. And then last one, I've got a little eucalyptus leaf. So I've actually taken these off individually and just cut the stems. Could even use a much thinner wire for these as well. There's two different ways that you can do leaves. You can even do these with real like ivy leaves. You could sort of put that through and then next to it, and what this would do is it makes the foliage move, so you can bend it to wherever you want. I don't think that's going to work with this one. It worked with some of the smaller ones. You can't do it with everything. So what we'll do with this one, so I have done it with the smaller leaves like that. So what that means is that you can just manipulate the leaf to where you want. But with the bigger leaves, I think that one's too thick to do. So we'll just do it normally. And again, wrap it round whilst pulling the other end, like so. Lovely. And then the guttering tape will just be the same for that one. Right, so onto the actual buttonhole. Just move all of this out of the way. So, the thing to do first, if you get your flowers into order, so you know exactly what you've got, and just have a play around with it first, sort of see where you want sort of the flowers to go. Now with a buttonhole, it could be really, really simple or quite elaborate. I'm going to do a more elaborate one today, but like you could just do sort of that with like maybe one lavender and a bit of eucalyptus, and maybe sort of that, and that could be it, something like that. Okay, or you could even just have a carnation with just some foliage. You know, it's entirely up to you what you want. But what I'm going to do is something a little bit more elaborate. So I'm going to get the carnation, fluff it out, make sure it's beautiful. So I'm going to start with my foliage. So I'm going to work all the way around with my eucalyptus leaves. Again, with a buttonhole, there's no real right or wrong way to do it. It's just what you think looks good. Okay. And just sort of pull them together. And the great thing is that's actually stuck to the tape at the moment. And I'm just going to play around to make sure they look how I want them to. So that's just my base to start with. Then I'm going to get my lavender, so I've got 2 of these. So I'm going to do the top bit first. Put my lavender there. And I'm going to put these there. And then I want my flowers, I think. So I want these at like different heights. The good thing is, if you're not happy with it, you can just sort of think, no, that doesn't look right, I'll try it again. Okay, so I'm happy with that bit, like so. And then I'm going to put the other lavender, like so. So it's at the bottom, but it's like an L. And then I'm going to sort of copy what I've done at the top and put that there, and then 2 of the purple flowers. I'm going to put 1 low and then 1 coming out a bit more. And then I think I'm just going to put 1 of these at the side. I think I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to stick them all together. Make sure I'm happy with how they are. Yeah, and that looks nice. And then we're going to trim the stems. So you don't want them too long. I'd say sort of 1.5 inches. Cut the stems. And just bring them together. And then you're going to get your tape and do exactly what you did when wiring and taping your individual flowers. So go as high up to the top as you can, and then just pull round, and then just pull it down and twist as you go, pulling it all the way down. And the key is this time you really have to make sure you go to the bottom, and I go even further and then pull, and then just pull that up, because you do not want any sharp wires at the bottom. So there we go, and then you can just have a play around. Because they're on wires, you can move it around as to how you want it. There you go, you have a buttonhole. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.